Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having an amazing day, guys. We have some news for you. We have some progressive events that are going to start on Tuesday. So, on Tuesday, November the 4th, we're planning to launch a progressive chance event, giving you at least a 15x chance to summon the champions of your choice from the selected pool from Ancients, Primal, Sacreds, and Void Shards. Now, for Tuesday, there will be a Unity champion from the Dwarves faction on the progressive events, and that is Black Tusk. Admiral Black Tusk looks absolutely amazing, has a really nice passive. If you pair him with faction allies, he will place a stone skin at the start of each round. And also, whenever an ally is attacked, he has a chance to place a big version of decrease speed on the attacker. So pretty cool. And yeah, just in general, very nice champion for Faction Wars Hard. I also saw some Chimera teams with him, or maybe even in Siege, but I don't remember really a dwarf team. But yeah, I think he's a very cool Unity champion. Also looks amazing. Would I go out of my way to get this champion? Probably not. I think, in my opinion, there are still better Unity champions. For example, Fina, a Vulcanos, right? So those kind of outshine champions like this, but he definitely has a spot where he can be used. Then we have Osgrun, also a very new champion, one of the newer ones, and he has also a very interesting kit and an interesting passive. Allies inflict 20% more damage against enemies under stun, so that is a damage multiplying passive, pretty interesting. And whenever an ally is killed, instantly activates the magics of Iref skill, will not put the skill on cooldown, and it is the A2, which has a chance to remove all buffs from all enemies and then decrease the turn meter of all enemies whose turn meter is equal or lower than 50% by 20%. If an enemy has more than 50% turn meter, he will decrease it by 50%. And then has a 100% chance, if booked, to place a stun debuff for one turn on enemies whose turn meter was reduced to 50%. So yeah, pretty interesting skill and passive. He can be your lockout champion, I guess. The only thing is that he might be a sheep magnet. But yeah, he has pretty good ratings, and I would agree with them to some degree. I don't think he outshines other champions in the high-end arena, but I think he's still a good lockout champion with the buff removal, the stun, and so on, and his passive. So yeah, his kit has pretty nice synergy and does make sense. Then we have Utsol of the Jade, and he's a very interesting nuker, right? Spirit affinity, attack based, and he has kind of a relentless effect built into his kit. So here, right here, it has a 20% chance of granting an extra turn, and this chance increases by 10% for each critical hit. You definitely want to build him with crit, right? You want to crit cap him. It's an AoE attack. Then he has 20% on A1. On extra turns, he does more damage, and yeah, also very interesting kit. His A3 is a single target attack, but it will ignore shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs. Also ignores stone skin and 100% of the target's defense if the skill was used on an extra turn or an instant turn. So also very interesting skill, and I think he's a good nuker and can be definitely used in the arena. Then we have probably one of the most wanted PvE dwarves, which is Nude. Yeah, don't really have to say much about him. Absolute beast in Fire Knight. Free hitter with a max HP hit. Absolutely amazing. I love this champion, and I got him from the fusion, and I would be absolutely sad if I wouldn't have him. And the last legendary on the list is Granite Doorkeep, which was a recent fusion. Has a pretty unique kit with a shatter buff. Yeah, I haven't seen any comp where he's mandatory or where he shines. I think still he's providing a lot of buffs and debuffs, so he definitely has a spot, but I don't think he can compete with the top tier champions. Now that was it for the non-voids. For the void champions, we will have Arnorn, one of the most annoying dwarf champions in Arena right now because of his passive. So his passive prevents this champion's death and keeps him alive on 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit. Places a stone skin buff on them for 1 turn and then instantly activates the Wrath of Rothgleim, which is the A3. It's an AoE attack which ignores increased defense, strengthen, and shield buffs. And yeah, pretty amazing skill. It does a lot of damage. He can absolutely smack, and because of this passive, you don't really need to worry about his survivability because this will most of the time make sure that he survives and then wipes out the entire enemy team. So one of the best dwarf champions, attack-based nukers for Arena at this moment. Very annoying to face. Then we have Akritzia, max HP hitter. A lot of people been using her in PvE content for quite a while now, and all of her skills do enemy max HP damage. So yeah, pretty much one of the best PvE dwarves. And then we have Tormin with his freezing passive, counter to speed boosting teams. But yeah, I think he kind of fell off a little bit. And he's also a very old champion. But, you know, he can find some niche uses here and there in live arena. Then on Wednesday, we have a progressive chance event on Barbarian Champions. And there's going to be the Unity Champion as well, Doomlord Gregor. He has a very interesting kit. And in the right setup, he can be used as a cooldown decrease champion. So kind of interesting. He provides a lot of buffs, right? He has increased attack, increased accuracy, and he places shield buffs as well and can provoke. So he, you know, if you have him paired with a barbarian, he can definitely be a cooldown decrease champion, but it's only 1 turn, right? So I don't know, kind of a weird one. I haven't seen him much lately in comps, but you know, I can definitely see some use in this skill right here. But other than that, I think he's probably one of the worst ones, one of the worst Unity champions. Then we have Thor, which was a fusion last year during the Asgard event. Still a very good nuker for Hydra, for example, or even Faction Wars Hard. And yeah, very amazing champion. Then we also have Dune Herald Saharis, also one of the newer champions. Pretty interesting kit with a lot of buffs and debuffs, and also pretty funny looking guy. But I also haven't seen many people use him, so I don't really know much about his value. I also think not too many people have this guy. And then there's Armance. Armance definitely dominated the arena for quite a long time. He's still very good. Now with the wand, you know, he got kind of nerfed a little bit, but you know, he's still amazing. And if you can get a copy of him even, it will definitely benefit your account. Then the next one is Esme, which was also a fusion at the start of this year. And yeah, pretty interesting champion. Weaken, block buffs, increase attack on A1. Kind of interesting on all allies. Increase accuracy and increase speed. So she's providing a lot of buffs and debuffs. And also has a speed aura, all battles. Speed aura. Kind of interesting, but myself, I haven't found a spot where I could use her. Then for the Void Legendary Barbarian Champions, we have Odin, also part of the Asgard event last year. People were only able to get him from a Champ Chase tournament, if I remember correctly. And yeah, still to this day, very amazing champion. Has an absolutely busted passive, and every 9 turns he places block damage on everybody, right? On his whole team. Has a 40% Void Speed aura. One of the biggest auras in the game. Biggest speed auras. And yeah, pretty amazing champion still to this day. Next one is Ursuga. I have like 4 or 5 copies of her. At some point, she was amazing for arena defenses, classic arena defenses, but she kind of fell off. She has an interesting passive which decreases the damage all allies receive from critical hits by 30%. and you know, that's a lot of damage mitigation, and she would receive that damage instead. So I guess you can still use her somehow, but she's definitely not top tier anymore. But she was absolutely amazing for arena defenses. And then the last one will be Turvo, also a very old champion, single hitter, a nuker attack based champion. The interesting part about his A3 is that the damage increases according to the number of buffs on this champion, which is kind of nice. I don't know by how much, but it is definitely significant. So he can smack. On top of that, he's buffing himself with increased attack, increased crit rate, increased speed, gets an extra turn. So he's buffing himself with 3 buffs already, and then he can use this skill. Only problem in today's meta is that he's not ignoring anything, right? He's not ignoring any type of survivability buff, so that kind of makes him unusable. So yeah, these were all of the progressive events, all of the champions that you have a chance to get. But I would advise anybody that is saving for the Leo event to not go for any of these progressive events, because there are only a few days where they can place the Leo event, right? The Ninja Turtles collab is going to end on the 13th of November. And if we now take a look at the event calendar, there is nothing planned on Friday. So normally we would get a summon rush here, right? On Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Monday it would end. We had a champ chase now, so that means next weekend it's going to be a summon rush. So the only option that I can see is that they're going to put it here on this weekend, because the collab is going to end on Thursday. So theoretically, they could start it Tuesday and have it last for like 48 hours or something. But I don't know. Maybe they can also start it on Monday. I have no idea. But I would recommend anybody to save their shards now. None of these progressive events are that impactful or that good. And I would, just hold on to see what's going to come on this weekend, because there will be a summer rush, and I'm anticipating a guaranteed Leo event as well. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? I don't, there are not many options left, so just wait a little bit until we get more information for the weekend. I'm pretty sure it's going to be this weekend. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm's going to suggest you a video that you might like right here, and see you in the next one.